Looks like a duck. It's a duck.
Judge's gavel slams to seat. Lawyers dance, twist up their seat. Finger points truth in the air. Crime scene chalk, we got there. Witness falls under the glare. Truth lies hidden, but where? Evidence in shadow cracks. Guilty walks with ducks in packs. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. If it quacks with a smack and waddles in the track, it's stuck. It circles round the facts, can't hide from the luck. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. Twist the tail, they change their tune. Photos snapped under the moon. Bloody prints and muddy paths. Money trails that never last. Defendant's face behind a mask. Justice chained up to the past. Solitary cell they spin. Real truth trapped deep within. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. If it quacks with a smack and waddles in the track, it's stuck. It circles round the facts, can't hide from the luck. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
Hello everybody, how's my volume? Let's go check some settings just to make sure we're good. Probably should have done all this before I hit the play button, but you know how it goes. Alright, we should be good. So I had some audio issues with the laptop. Music's good, Melanie. Music's good. Taskmaster. Oh, the duck story that I got some of this video footage from is actually pretty funny. Prince Lover. How's it going, my girl? Right, so I don't know. I'm glad Princey's here because I don't have any. I got Michelle at work. I don't know where Supermod Kev is, and we got Goldfish in the house. Pretty sure Goldfish is a mod. Let me just make sure Goldfish is a mod. So we at least got a couple of mods on board. Yep, we gotcha. All right, so we can close that now. We have some, good morning, Goldfish, by the way. Afternoon it is here, so probably just leaving morning for you guys. I need to make some video footage for my theme song, don't I? Thank you, Melanie. Much appreciated. So hello everyone. Full of questions, Barbara. Let me see who we got here. From the top, we have Laura. Hello, Laura. Jody Who, full of questions, Barbara. Kat Randall's in the house. Prince Lover. Sea Star, how's it going? Yo Quiro Quiso. I don't know how to say that. That was my best attempt. It must be Spanish. Heather Donahue, how's it going? Tanya. Alright, so One Giant Lie is in the house too. Alright, so, and also Aussie Jules, how's it going? Alright, so this just came out, like I only just got it seconds ago, so I literally have not read it yet, but I'm going to put it on the screen and read it. So there's a, hello Sharon, there's a lawsuit, right? I did post it on my channel posts, community posts, whatever they're freaking called now. YouTube keeps changing shit on me. So it's a story that Ted Daniels was working on. So there's a lawsuit filed by a Boston police captain accusing police administrators of pressuring him to change an internal affairs report about then rookie officer to help him, avoid post scrutiny. Isn't that the point of post? Like, hello. Anyway, it involves Cox, and I've got the full filing here. So it is the filing for the plaintiff's complaint and jury demand. The plaintiff is Timothy Hang on, I'll put it on the screen because I can't say that either. I only speak Australian over here. Let's stick it up on the screen so we can see it. There we go. Let's get this up a little bigger. Here we go. Can we all see that? All right. Hi, Swiss Miss. How's it going? Lisa? I'm not even trying to read last names today. Just given anything but Aussie a miss today. All right, so this is his name. So how do you pronounce that? Gogan? Gogan? I don't know how you pronounce that. But anyway, he's now a police chief at another department. Good evening, Smartahari. Gone, that's what you reckon? You speak Aussie too, though, Jules. We're going to go with gone because I'm probably going to remember that. Let's go because I think he is an employee of the BPD. No, I have over here. Damn it. I had which department he was from. He's like the police chief in another department now, so it doesn't actually tell us in this document. And I've forgotten the name of the area where he is now, so anyway, the plaintiff is Timothy Gorn. He's an individual who resides at that place in Walpole and has been an employee of the BPD for 34 years. Defendant, City of Boston. Defendant, Boston Police Department. Defendant, Michael Cox. And Defendant, Philip Owens, who is the Superintendent in Chief of the BPD. So, Defendant Sharon Dutton. She's the Superintendent of the Bureau of Admin and Technology for BPD. And then David Fredett, I think that's how you say that, is a legal advisor to the Boston Police Department. And this court has jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. So on April 21st, 2018, Boston police officer Brian Augustine was stopped at a red light at the intersection of New Chardon, I think is how you say it, and Merrimack Street in the city of Boston in his private vehicle. Augustine graduated from the Boston Police Academy on April 10th, 2018, and was a probationary officer I think it's supposed to be on the 21st of April 2018. Augustine was not on duty at that time, but was wearing his uniform and was on his way from a detail assignment at the TD Garden to BPD District 1 office to complete paperwork related to an incident that occurred during his detail that day. Augustine's vehicle was stopped in the far left turn only lane. To Augustine's right was a vehicle driven by Jeremy Hines, we'll go with. Hines' vehicle was in a lane that allowed him to drive straight ahead or turn left. When the light turned green, Augustine proceeded straight, cutting in front of Hines, who was turning left, and a collision nearly occurred. Augustine yelled out his window for Hines to pull over. Augustine then stopped, exited his vehicle, and told Hines to pull the F over and get the F out. How's his cheek? He's the one in the wrong. CPD's inverted camera, hello. Alex, hello. Fervent, hello. Christine, hello. Maddie's in the house. Thanks for dropping in, Maddie. Who have I missed? Big Dog is also in the house. All right, so yeah, how's his hide? He's the one in the rock. He's the one in the wrong in the rock. He's the one in the wrong. And he pulls this guy over. Augustine called for backup as he was not in a marked cruiser with emergency lights. BPD officers Timothy Callahan and William Hull responded to the scene. Augustine informed Callahan upon his arrival that Augustine requested that Hines produce his license, and he refused. Augustine further informed Callahan that Augustine's vehicle was in the far left lane and that Hines' vehicle was in the middle lane, and that Augustine attempted to travel straight, nearly colliding with Hines, who was turning left. As a result of Augustine's representations regarding Hines' failure to produce his driver's license, Callahan requested Hines exit his vehicle. When Hines asked why, Callahan informed him that he was being arrested for failure to provide his license and registration. Didn't he just get pulled over for cutting the other dude off? These guys will pull some weird shit. I agree, CPD Cox should resign and rehome himself, of course. Anyway, where are we? Augustine issued a written warning to Hines for a marked lane violation and improper left turn. Augustine then prepared a police report that contained information he knew to be false to lay the blame for the incident on Hines, falsely claiming that Augustine was in the middle lane and Hines was in the far left turn only lane and attempted to travel straight when the traffic incident occurred. For those who are in Australia, you kind of got to reverse it all, turn it all around. But it's a little confusing as to who was in the right and who was in the wrong. The person in the middle lane shouldn't. Yeah, I'm confused now. How that works in America. But anyway, we shall carry on. I'm sure the complaint's going to lay it out for us so we Australians don't get too confused. On May the 3rd, 2018, Hines submitted a complaint to the Internal Affairs Division of the BPD. At that time, the plaintiff was a lieutenant detective assigned to Internal Affairs Division. An investigation was conducted by Sergeant Detective Michael Hanson of the Internal Affairs Division. When Augustine was interviewed by Hansen, he again misrepresented the facts of the incident involving Mr. Hines, i.e., he stated that he was in the middle lane and Hines was in the left lane when the traffic incident occurred. And in that situation, I get why Hines would have been in the wrong, but that wasn't the situation, was it? Hansen concluded his investigation on or about 8th of October 2021. Hansen's investigative report recommended Augustine be charged with violations of BPD Rules 102, Conduct Unbecoming, and S3 and S9, Respectful Treatment. Really? Is that all? Right, that's what I figure's going on. I haven't read this, by the way, so you're getting it brand new just as I am, so. Oh, Howie Carr did a story on him. There you go. This is about more than Augustine. This goes on to several plaintiffs, several reports that have been bogus by Cox. But anyway, as dictated by BPD protocol, the plaintiff reviewed Hansen's investigative report. At the conclusion of plaintiff's review of Hansen's investigative report, and based on the facts contained within the report, the plaintiff included 2 additional charges: Rule 102S20, self-identification, and Rule 102S23, department reports truthfulness. You're supposed to be truthful? Really? Plaintiffs, hey, I actually have to wonder if any of that's going to come up, like the truthfulness clause. Hey, Michelle, thanks for calling it. I know you're at work, you naughty girl. Don't get busted being on YouTube while you're at work. Well, thank you, Bradley. I appreciate the compliments. So yeah, where are we? Yeah, is that S102 gonna come into, truthfulness as far as all the officers in the Karen Reid case? Because I'm pretty sure most of them got busted in at least one lie. Plaintiff's investigative report and recommendations were then reviewed by then Deputy Superintendent and Assistant Chief of the Bureau of Professional Standards, Owens, the Superintendent and Chief of BPD, Dotton, and the BPD Legal Advisor, Fredett. Coffee break. Give me one sec. Swish, swish. Got to keep the mouth lubed to say all these words. On or about March 10th, 2022, Fredett sent a memo to the Internal Affairs Division asking 2 questions. 1, whether a second charge for truthfulness related to Augustine's misrepresentation related to asking for Hines' driver's license was warranted. And 2, as a probationary officer, why Augustine was not placed on leave while this was investigated. Yeah, well, the least they could have done is given him a paid holiday, right? That seems to be like the done thing. Gorgon fishing. Gorn fishing. I don't know how you're pronouncing it, Michelle. Why, thank you, Alex. Best voice. Most people say my voice is annoying, but I'm glad some of you like it. It makes reading a lot less, what would you say, like I'm less self-aware if I know people are actually enjoying the reading. So where are we? The plaintiff responded to Fredett, stating that he did not believe there was sufficient evidence to sustain a second charge of untruthfulness. Plaintiff's final investigative report recommended that the following charges against Augustine be sustained. 1, conduct unbecoming. 2, respectful treatment. 3, self-identification. And 4. I jumped to the section. department reports and truthfulness. Plaintiff's investigative report was subsequently reviewed by Owens, who agreed with and sustained all the plaintiff's recommended charges except for Rule 102S20 self-identification charge, which he recommended not be sustained. Thereafter, the investigative report was reviewed by Dotton, who agreed with and sustained all charges recommended by all of them. Yeah, all of them. Okay. They didn't recommend, but they did. So, the investigative report was next reviewed by Fredette, who agreed with and sustained all charges recommended by Owens. On April 14th, 2022, the plaintiff was transferred out of Internal Affairs Division. On November 17th, 2022, the Deputy Superintendent of the Internal Affairs Division, Philip Owens, sent a memorandum to Cox that outlined the charges recommended and sustained by Plaintiff Owens, Dotton, and Fredette. Fredette. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly either. You're right, big dog. Truthfulness, what the heck's that? We're all speaking French. They only speak the other language in Boston, right? Hey, Britt. How's it going? All right. Where were we? In February of 2023, after having been transferred out of the Internal Affairs Division 10 months prior, Owens telephoned the plaintiff. This was a significant breach of department protocol, as officers who are transferred out of Internal Affairs Division typically have no further participation or engagement of any kind in internal affairs matters. Owens informed the plaintiff that he was calling on behalf of Cox. Owens asked that the plaintiff change his initial findings and recommendations of the Augustine investigative report, removing the recommended charges of conduct unbecoming and the truthfulness, and replacing them with lesser charges. Well, how much lesser can it get? I'm pretty sure those are already bottom of the barrel, like the worst it could the least that could happen to him, right? They only speak alcohol in Boston. Right, there you go, that language. Hello, pro gamer from Brussels. Beautiful day in southeast Melbourne. Nice. Beautiful day here too. It's actually been a cool day here, I think. Fuck. We've had some pretty hot days and power outs and all sorts of stuff going on here. So I'm so glad it's been a little cloudy and cooler today. Speaking of which, I just need to step away for 2 shakes to turn the AC on because we just hit 34 degrees here. So give me 1 sec. I shall be back. All right, I'm back. Just getting into the warmer part of the day today, so a little bit of AC never hurt anyone. Middle of the night for you, pro gamer. Karen, how's it going, buddy? All right, so now he's been asked to change the report for lesser charges. What could possibly be lesser charges than untruthfulness and conduct unbecoming? Is there anything like lower? At Cox's direction, Owens requested that the charge of conduct unbecoming be changed to unreasonable judgment. Really? That's a lower charge? And the charge of department untruthfulness to be changed to neglect of duty, or unreasonable judgment. They sound like worse charges to me. Oh, you're the supervisor today. Okay. Right, super. This is what you got to do, soups. Tell everyone to turn YouTube on. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Bradley. Raining cats and dogs here in England. Nice one, Carol. Karen. I always get your name wrong, don't I? Shocker. All right, where were we? Owens further asks that the narrative report supporting the original charges be altered to remove any indication that Augustine lied during his IAD interview. Owens reasoned that if the charges, as recommended by the plaintiff, were sustained, it would alert the Post Commission and Augustine would likely be terminated, an end result they were trying to avoid. Owens followed up his phone call with plaintiff in February 2023 by forwarding him a memorandum that had initially been created and forwarded to Commissioner Cox on or about November 17th for his approval. In the memo, the untruthfulness and conduct unbecoming charges were crossed out and the lesser charges of unreasonable judgment and neglect of duty were handwritten next to the crossed out charges. Anyone from Massachusetts here to help us understand why those are lesser charges? They sound worse to me. One Giant Lie says, I personally believe Commissioner Cox's whole story was fabricated to put a black guy in during a time of serious duress when BPD was facing a lot of allegations for racism. Interesting. Seems to be a lot of, in the last administration, there seems to have been a lot of people who normally wouldn't hold those positions got those positions, whether they got blue hair or dark skin. So that seemed to happen like across the board with the last administration from what I'm noticing. Could be wrong, but that's just what it looks like. So for those who don't know, Nate, the lawyer, hears a lot of those stories because he's black and he's allowed to cover those stories without it sounding racist. So he does cover a lot of those stories of people who were put in those positions who probably shouldn't because they A, didn't have the legal standing, or B, had criminal records and shit. So you would love 34. I'll trade you. I'll take the 18 and you can have the 34. So moving on. Cox's request that plaintiff change the title and narratives of the charges after they had been sustained by everyone in the chain of review was a serious breach of protocol and contrary to the disciplinary procedural rules of the Boston Police Department. Instead of addressing the merits of the recommended charges by either sustaining or not sustaining the charges, Commissioner Cox attempted to shield his involvement in the matter of contacting plaintiff indirectly and exerting undue pressure on him to change the nature of the charges and supporting narratives. Cox's objective was to protect a dishonest police officer from being terminated. And if you're dishonest, you should be terminated. Commissioner Cox's improper motives in this regard are supported by the fact that Augustine has avoided discipline by the BPD since his hire in 2017, despite having 6 separate unresolved internal affairs complaints currently pending against him, dating back to May 2018, that involve allegations of conduct unbecoming, neglect of duty in association with criminals. What? Oh my God. All right. So I'm I am so disappointed with Commissioner Cox. Like, really. I did give up the ciggies, Alex. I just started smoking again, like, in the last week or so. But I did give them up. That's probably why I'm coughing a little bit, because I haven't smoked for a bit. It's going down the hard way. Plus, they're not my usual cigarettes. There's some other yucky brand. Hey, Simmy. Australia stopped selling my brand of cigarettes because they have menthol in them. So I tried to give up. I tried to do vapes for a bit. I tried a whole bunch of shit. I'm back smoking again. So one giant lie says, I've lived in Massachusetts over 40 years. Right after my visit to Perth, all these issues in MA are nationwide. The nepotism is just much worse. Right, there you go. Simmy, Dolan. All right. So yes, I am a little bit coffee today because this is really harsh tobacco. It's a lot heavier tobacco than I'm used to. The plaintiff agreed to change the title of the recommended charges as requested by Owens, but refused to change the narrative of the investigative report or whitewash the actions of Augustine as it related to his dishonest actions. The plaintiff refused to comply with this request as he reasonably believed that it would have been in violation of law and the rules and regulations of the BPD. April 2022 detail violation investigations. So in April of 2022, Deputy Superintendent Eddie Crispin, Crispy Eddie, huh? Assigned the plaintiff and other supervisors to investigate cases of alleged detail violations dating back to 2020 and 2021. The plaintiff and others determined that the detail violations charges were meritless, were not being pursued for legitimate reasons, and were a waste of department resources. The plaintiff refused to investigate the detail violations that were assigned to him. As a result of his refusal to investigate the detail violations, Crispin filed a complaint against the plaintiff, alleging violations of BPD neglect of duty. Oh my God, it sounds like they're just like back and forth, like retaliating against each other. As a result of Crispin's complaint, plaintiff was transferred out of Internal Affairs Division the next day to the Domestic Violence Unit. After plaintiff was transferred to the DVU on April 14th, instead of being assigned to a newer unmarked cruiser, he was given a beat-up cruiser that was approximately 9 years old with a broken bumper. Most of plaintiff's subordinates drove newer, more comfortable cruisers than the one assigned to him. Wow, this sounds like retaliation, right? Thank you, Kat Randall and Pro Gamer says 34 is the perfect temperature. It's also the number of the address at Fairview Road, just in case you didn't know. Thank you, Kat, for the gifted membership. No, Kat received. Oh, congratulations, Kat. Hang on, who gave the membership? Wait. Why can't I see who gave the gifted membership? No, it was Kat. Gifted. Kat gifted it and received it. Right. I don't know. I think YouTube's fucking with me, but anyway. That's funny. It is. I didn't think I was seeing things. Hey, Jay Cornish. Hey, H. Hey, how's it going? It's not often that you gift a membership and you actually receive it. You've seen it once before. The Goodmans gifted out, and they got it. Yeah, YouTube is drunk. God damn it! All right, a bit more coffee as we travel on. So this just sounds like they're just going rogue and like paying out on the poor guy. Boston police cruisers are assigned to department units and are typically within the units until they are no longer serviceable. Although there was a new cruiser available for plaintiff when he was transferred into the DBU, Captain Detective Kosmiski gave it to Lieutenant Detective Driscoll, the commander of the SAU. This was a breach of department protocol and a marked departure from the custom and practice of the BPD. So when it comes to a departure of practice and policy, that's why he's bringing this lawsuit, I think. Hey, Red Pen, how's it going? Long time no see. Yeah, so in August of 2022, Lieutenant Detective John Conroy completed the investigation of the charges against the plaintiff. Conroy's recommendations were that the charge related to neglect of duty was not sustained, and that the charge related to directives and orders was sustained. Conroy submitted his investigative report and recommendations to Dotton on or about August the 4th. Oh, so the neglect of duty was dropped, but not following Cox's orders was sustained. But Cox's orders were actually against BPD practice, right? So that's weird. Pro Gamer gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that, Pro Gamer. And Smarter Harry got one. PJ Jones got one. Congratulations. Cornbread also got one. Jane Brown. And Out and About with Diane. And Big Dog also got one. And Red Pen got one. Yay. So interesting, right? So they decided to sustain his refusal to follow Cox's orders, but Cox's orders were crooked. They weren't by the book, right? Conroy submitted his investigative report and recommendations to Dotton on or about August 4th. Dotton did not review the completed report for almost a year or forward it to the Office of the Legal Advisor for review pursuant to department protocol. On July 3rd, 2023, so nearly a year later, Owens reviewed the report and recommendations and agreed with Conroy's findings. On July 7th, the status of the charges against plaintiff were changed to pending. Lieutenant Detective Conroy informed the plaintiff that he had a verbal conversation with Fredette, who had reviewed the report and recommendations and disagreed with the findings of not sustained with respect to neglect of duty. These guys all sound like a-holes. On October 4th, 2023, Fredette reviewed the file and sent the report and revised recommendations, both charges sustained, back to the IA division for further review. Dotton, Fredette, and BPD intentionally delayed the completion of the investigation to prevent plaintiff from receiving a captain's promotion. Dang. Dirty. On February 19th, the findings of the IA investigation were issued and a 3-day suspension was imposed. So he waited for over a year driving around and bombed up the car, and he got a 3-day suspension. The plaintiff's promotion to captain. The plaintiff has been a Boston police officer since January 14, 1991. Prior to October 7, 2023, the plaintiff was ranked first on the civil service eligible list to be promoted to captain. He shared that number one rank with Driscoll. It was department protocol that if a candidate had charges that were pending with the IA division, the candidate would not be promoted. On October 7th, 2023, the plaintiff was bypassed for a promotion to captain. Haggerty, who was ranked third on the eligible list, was instead promoted. That's dirty. That is so dirty. These people are dirty. Dirty, dirty. They do. They sound like complete a-holes. All right, so we got more memberships here. Michelle gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome aboard, Goldfish. I'm sure you've been here a couple of times now. Just a little technical perjury. Lynn, Sheila, and 3 Clark Monty all got memberships. Yay. Am I correct in thinking Boston is part of Canton, or are they separate? Just wondering if Cox ties into Birchmore stuff. Yeah, Cox is he's the commissioner, police commissioner for all of that area, isn't he? Oh, someone else is going to have to, someone else more local. Canton is a small part of the Boston area. The city of Boston is separate from the town of Canton. Okay, you're all confusing us now. Canton is a suburb of Boston. That's what I thought, but not a part of Boston. What? They are politically separate jurisdictions. So Boston is not in Norfolk County, but Canton is. Okay, so now what is Cox? Cox is BPD, but not Canton PD. All right, thank you, Smarter Harry. We need Scott, right? We need Scott on the job. Canton is its own city, right? But Boston Police, that's different to MSP. Again, that's state police, MSP. Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know what Cox's role. He has no jurisdiction over Canton. Thank you, Scorpion. That was the answer I was looking for. So he's like the commissioner for Boston Police Department, right? Where is Scotty? Where are you, Scotty, when we need you? He's only the chief over Boston. Thank you, Kelly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Well, that's what confused me. I thought that Canton was part of Boston for her to be able to do that. All right, let's move on. In violation of MGL 31, Section 27, the BPD never informed the plaintiff that he was bypassed for the captain's promotion or provided the plaintiff with any written explanation of the reasons for the bypass. The plaintiff had filed a timely appeal of the bypass with the Civil Service Commission. God, how many freaking departments have they got? It's weird that they got all of these departments, which is supposed to be part of the checks and balances, and yet they need the post commission because none of the checks and balances are working. Am I right? Cox isn't the only one. CPD's inverted camera. Love your content. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Cox, isn't he the one who talked to Kelly Deep? That's right. That's who he is. He's the commissioner. Yeah, Sumi, YouTube's playing up, doing weird shit because they're changing a whole bunch of stuff in the background on YouTube too. So Cox is the boss of 3,000 Boston police officers. Mayor Wu is his boss. Thank you, C-Star. That clears all that up. All right. Where are we at? Pre-hearing conference. That cigarette's terrible. I should just stop smoking it. On January 9th, 2024, the plaintiff appeared at a pretrial hearing conference of the Civil Service Commission. Also present at that conference were Commissioner Bowman and Fredette. Fredette informed Bowman that due to upcoming retirements and promotions, the plaintiff will be promoted to captain by July 1st, 2024. Fredette further informed Bowman that while plaintiff had pending charges with the IA division, they were minor and would not be an impediment to his promotion. Based on Fredette's representations to Bowman, the plaintiff agreed to have his appeal dismissed, NISI. What does NISI mean? Nissi. Someone help me out. What's Nissi? You're welcome, Jackson's Nickel. I just decided, I saw it and went, look, I haven't read it, but might as well hit the live button since I'm going to read it anyway. Thank you, Duck. Thank you, Duck. So it's like Commissioner of the Big Apple, New York City, but separate from outside towns and suburbs. Gotcha. Cough button. How about the stop smoking that horrible cigarette button? I'm not sure what Nissi means. NISI. Anyone? Or is it a typo? It might be a typo. On January 11th, 2024, the Commission issued a dismissal Nissi. There it is again. It's not a typo. What does it mean? What does that mean? All right, I have to Google it because I hate it when I don't know the answer to something. What does dismissed Nissi mean? The legal term that means a court has dismissed a provisional order which was originally granted conditionally. This can happen if the applicant fails to appear in court on the return date, the order expires, or the court decides making the provision order permanent. Rule Nissi is a conditional order that is not final until certain conditions are met by until a future hearing takes place. Gotcha. So that's what Nissi means. So until a future. No, it means unless. No, it means until a future court or determination. Latin for unless, so it's a provisional. Yep, thank you guys. Sorry, I was over there looking at Google while you were answering it for me. So, Honey plus a shot of whiskey. No, it's a really shitty cigarette, ducking. It was just a really strong cigarette. Attention Walmart shoppers. Will Mike Cox come to customer service? Mike Cox. Good on you, man. Well, Latin is actually very common for common law. It's all comes from Latin, basically. Common law does. So it's the same here in Australia. It all comes from Latin. Thank you, Kathleen. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You must be way back at the start. So someone say whiskey. So where were we? The Commission issued a dismissal NISI to be effective on June the 30th, 2024. The Commission stated in its order that if the plaintiff was bypassed or not promoted to captain by June 30th, the Commission would accept a motion to revoke the dismissal. On March 16th, Driscoll, with whom the plaintiff was tied on the eligible list, was promoted to captain and the plaintiff was not. In June 2024, the plaintiff concerned that June 30 was fast approaching and that he may need to file a motion to revoke the Commission's dismissal, NISI called Commissioner Cox's office to reschedule a meeting with him to discuss his promotion. The plaintiff subsequently spoke with his supervisor, Captain Detective Terry Thomas, who had contacted him on behalf of Cox to inquire about the purpose of plaintiff's request for meeting with Cox. Thomas had explained to plaintiff that Deputy Evans had called him on behalf of Commissioner Cox to find out why plaintiff wanted the meeting. Plaintiff stated that he wanted to discuss his promotion and whether he needed to file a motion to revoke the Commission's dismissal NISI. In late June 2024, Cox sought out plaintiff's brother, BPT Captain James Gawn. What did we decide that was? Gawn? To discuss plaintiff's attempt to meet with him to discuss his promotion. Cox informed James Gawn that there was no need for Cox to meet with plaintiff because he was all set. He was all set. Have you got your all set emoticons out, guys? Have you ever heard of Tessalon pearls for Cox? Nope, but it sounds nasty. I'm not sure what pearls are. Thank you, Karen. Refers to a provisional court order that becomes final absolute only if the party against whom it is issued fails to show cause or take a specific action within a set. That's what I thought. We make shit up. Good on you, cat. You were doing fishes or you're filling dishes? All right. Plaintiff subsequently spoke. Oh, we read that. And we read that. He's all set. Oh yeah. Where's our all set emoticons? Come on. You're filling dishes, right? The plaintiff understood this representation to mean that his promotion would go through before June 30, but there was no need to file a motion to revoke the dismissal with the Commission. Based upon the representation by Cox and the earlier representations by Fredette, the plaintiff did not file a motion to revoke the dismissal of his appeal with the Commission. Oh, I can see what's coming. Oh. Because he didn't do that, he didn't get promoted to captain. until November. Yes, in Bev's awful way of saying it. Oh, yeah, we do have the emojis. The plaintiff's adverse treatment since his promotion to captain. After his promotion in November 2024, plaintiff was assigned to the operations division where he remains today. The operations division is widely acknowledged by BBD personnel as a toxic work environment. I'm getting the impression that it's all freaking toxic, top to bottom. At the time plaintiff was assigned to the operations unit, the commander of the unit, Deputy Carmen Curry. What is up with these people's names? Terry Thomas, Carmen Curry. What is up? I reckon that they give us fake names, like that. They don't actually ever tell us their real names, so that they never get put into filings, and we never know their real names. Because we have weird shit over here, like Michaela Cash. She was like in the Treasury Department. Like, they're really fucking with us, right? Cash in the Treasury. Like, I reckon they just make shit up. It should be CHPD, Chernobyl PD. Thank you, Lee Trepidant. Le Trepidant. You better use your roll your own. Yeah, it is a roll your own. But you know how you're in Australia? Yeah. You know how they stopped selling menthols? They're only like drum menthol were only like 8 milligrams, and now all I can get from the local store is like 12 milligrams. They're like so one cigarette, if I just smoke it slowly, like over a period of hours, it's kind of the same. They sound like names from a dime store. No, exactly, Red Pen. Like who makes up these freaking names? And Dr. Slaughter, right? Who was that? I'm trying to think where Dr. Slaughter came from. But there was also someone who was murdered by I think I was listening to it last night, who was murdered by like a serial killer, and her last name was Slaughter. Thing nanny state bullshit. Yeah, exactly, Anna. Anyway, after his promotion in November, plaintiff was assigned to the operations division where he remains today. The operations division is widely acknowledged by BPD as a toxic environment. At the time, plaintiff was assigned to the operations unit. The commander of the unit, Curry, had a pending IAD complaint against a civilian union representative and vice versa. The competing IAD complaints created an overly aggressive and hostile work environment in which plaintiff was forced to work. So it's toxic. There's like 3 more sentences just to say it's toxic. Right. Plaintiff was forced to remain in operations even after others at BPD were promoted to captain and received district assignments known for being significantly better than operations. The Whistleblower Protection Act. Interesting. I've been on this topic for a couple of videos now. What is silencing others? And, if you are someone who is not being silent, you're saying, yeah, I'm dobbing you in. We've been talking about this one in quite some depth, haven't we? Cost me $30 for a pound of tobacco and rolling papers last me almost a month. Big dog, you're in Australia. $30 for a pound. I know what you're doing too. You're doing that's yeah. I won't say it aloud, but I know what you're doing, and I can't smoke it because I have allergic reaction to it. I'm reading that girl. How are you? I'm reading the complaint against Commissioner Cox. So the one that Ted Daniels has been researching for a little bit. So the one where the dad was a serial killer and his daughter died. No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know, Big Dog, because I watch every night when I go to sleep. I actually put a whole bunch of them, like 2020s and all sorts of things on, so that for the first 3 hours that I'm asleep, there's just nothing but noise in the room, so I can't hear my ears ringing. So I don't know. I woke up and had one eye on it, but I can't remember. I just remember going slaughter. She got slaughtered by literally by the serial killer, and her name was Slaughter. So yes, thank you, Karen. That's what I'm reading. Not the devil's. No, I wasn't talking about the devil's lettuce either. I was talking about the other tobacco that you're not allowed to buy in Australia. The plaintiff restates and reincorporates all of the preceding paragraphs in this complaint as if they were fully set forth herein. The plaintiff is an employee as defined in. Hang on. So he's saying about the retaliatory acts of the defendant were because he's a whistleblower, blah, 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 tortious interference with advantageous business relations, so interfering with his promotion, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sticking him in a bomby car. Not sure that counts as intentional emotional distress, but we will see. A former NYC assistant coroner was named Barbara Butcher. Exactly, ducking. This is what I'm saying. They make up freaking names, and it's not their real names. I'm absolutely sure of it. We got a number of them. I just can only think of Michaela Cash right now, but I'm sure Michelle will come up with a few. They're just weird names for them. So the outrageous actions of the defendant, blah, blah, blah. So that's emotional distress. So promissory estoppel restates and reincorporates all the preceding paragraphs, made repeated representations to the plaintiff that he would be made captain, and then he didn't get made captain. Yes, gotcha. Civil conspiracy. They toxically work together to stop him from becoming captain. What are the exhibits? Oh. Check out the check out the handwriting. You're going to either write it in all caps or you're going to write it in small case. You can't do both. That's not how you write. Grace. All right, obviously that's one of them. Thank you. Grace. So with the shop chop shop, that tobacco, I can't smoke it. As soon as I touch it and I even put my hands anywhere near my face, I swell up. So I tried a little bit and then swelled up, basically. So yeah. Where are we? Blah blah blah. Mr. Owens needs to learn how to write because that's terrible. You either use small case or you're using sentence case or you're using uppercase. You can't mix it all up like that. Go back to school, dude. There you go. That's the entirety of the complaint, boys and girls. Yeah, me too, Simi. It's terrible writing. So there you go. BPD Commissioner Cox is in a little bit of hot water. That's right, Janelle. We were just making jokes about how they're dicking with us with their names. Like, how can you be a coroner and be called Butcher? What's Grace's position? Let me look it up. It's even funny when they're like Michaela Cash was in the Treasury Department. Grace, MP for Newstead, state government in Newstead, MP for Queensland. Shadow Minister for Trade, Industrial Relations, Olympic and Paralympic Games. Grace and racing. Grace is part of racing. There was I remember a Dr. Death. Oh, you started having dreams about it. It's the only thing that can put me to sleep. I mean, I'm interested in true crime, so I'm looking for cases all the time that we can talk about. But so that's why I pick those to go sleep to. But I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my ears will be ringing. I'll have to put another one on, and then I'll listen to half of it while I'm going back to sleep. And so I get bits and pieces of stories and never remember which story was which. So it is Red Pen, and it's actually about freaking time, right? Like, how long can you be untouchable for? A dentist named Dr. Payne? I'm sure they're dicking with us. There's no way that's their real names. They just do that just to dick with us. Right, so let me have a look what else we've got to report. Aidan Carney has a new judge again. Now, apparently, Chief Justice Michael Requetti of the Superior Court has ordered the special assignment of Judge Christopher B. Bellizis to hear all matters going forward on Aidan Carney's case. So hopefully he gets the same, like, it's just a bitch that he's had so many different judges for nearly everything that's going on, but hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. Like, if this guy doesn't stay put, then we know they're dicking with him as well, right? Yeah, big dog. I reckon they're all going to skate, of course. So, your vet was Dr. Wolf. I actually lost track of how many Dr. Wolfs there were in the Karen Reid trial. Wasn't there 3 Dr. Wolfs in the trial that testified in the trial too? It got confusing as to which one we were referring to at any given time, right? Your niece is an orthopedic surgical nurse and last name Payne. Whoops. Okay, she's obviously not fucking with us. Bradley, my real name is Joe Fanboy. No, it's not. Now you're fucking with me. There you go, ducking. I didn't know that. Of course. Well, at least you're telling the truth. One for defense and one for No, I thought there was 3. I thought there was 2 for the prosecutor and 1 for the defense. I think it was actually 3. I don't know, for some reason I remember 3. 2 for the prosecution. But they were spelt differently. I could be wrong. I often am wrong. Hey, but it's a good thing I'll admit it, right? Katie? Who's he calling Katie? He's being polite. All right, so Krusty, Kate Peters, is predicting incoming McAlbert's lawsuits against Turtle Boy real soon and dropping cryptic messages on perjury this morning. Doesn't she have enough of her own problems to deal with? Indeed. Indeed. So, I don't know, something's supposed to drop. Maverick has put this up on X, because I actually follow Krusty's X account. I can't do it. It's like too frustrating. I just want to slap the stupid cow up the side of the head every time she posts something. So Wolf was the IT guy. Oh, Wolk. It wasn't Wolf. Thank you. Strange credulity. Okay, Red Pen. I think we're done. We're just killing time now. So we've done the major bit. So ciao. Good night. So it was woke, not wolf. Yeah, I remember getting so confused because they had 2 and it must have been one sounded like wolf. And then when you say it with the MA accent, Massachusetts accent, that's even harder again to work out what's being said. So oh, you bitch. No. Remember I told you Arnie Bev could possibly end up in overseeing the civil case for Karen Reid, because she's now doing civil she's now in the civil court where Karen Reid's civil case is. Guess what? Let me share the screen. I hate it when I'm right on things like this. This is something I'd prefer to be wrong about, right? And I'm not saying I am right about it yet, but look, because of Honourable Daniel J. O'Shea's impending retirement, what the frickin' hell? So they're going to assign it to Mark C. Gildia, Associate Justice of the Superior Court for all purposes. But we will see. We will see, because that was one of those tricky situations where Judge Bev could insert herself because she was familiar with the case. At the moment, they're saying it's the Honourable Mark C. Gildia, but I don't know. There's now an opening for Bev to stick a nose in. So, which is exactly what I was warning you about. And everyone was going, "Shut up, Ozzy. You don't know what you're talking about." So, good night, Bradley Brown. See you next time. Total cover up. Total. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Do you think, Alex? We know she can now because Judge O'Shea's retiring. She could have anyway. She could have just asked him to assign her to it because she's familiar with the case. That's one of those little twisty side notes I was trying to bring to everyone's attention. But the fact that he's retiring is one of those situations where she could end up with it. Like the clerk of the court could just automatically assign her to it if they wanted to, because she's familiar with the case. Oh, yeah. I don't know if we can do it, but like patience wise, Karen, I don't know if we've got our I don't know if our brains can handle it. You think that's a good thing? I don't know. Mark Bedero is a top dude, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't trust these see you next Tuesdays. Like, seriously. Anyway, that's one of the situations I was trying to warn people about when they're all yelling at me. You don't know what you're talking about, Ozzy. You're just being negative Nancy. She can't do that. It's like, well, according to the law, she can. So, that's a pain in the backside, right? I'm still looking for more news for you guys. For those of you who don't hang around on X, looking for news. For those of you who aren't on X, the jury foreman spoke up. 2 special judges were assigned today, Ozzy. Yes. The Commonwealth doesn't get a choice in it, Lee Trepidant. Who does the assignments is actually O'Shea. Even before his retirement, he's actually the chief justice or something. So up until he's retired, he'll be the one that says who's going to be doing what. But because Judge Bev is next below him as far as level of bossness, whatever you call it, she could actually assign herself. But the clerks could assign it to her if they were inclined to anyway, because she's familiar with it. That's how it works in Massachusetts. Don't you know? This is how they do it in Massachusetts, Mr. Jackson. But that was, yeah, none of us were expecting O'Shea to retire. But there you go. He had to go and retire right in the middle of it all. So, what was the other news? Oh, yeah, what's his name spoke up. All right. Let me try and find that for you. What was his name? Deluche? What was his name? Deluche? What was the guy's name again? Juror number 1's name. Let me try and find it for you. I got to scroll for a bit to find it for you, but there's a couple of snippets of him saying things. So I was trying to find the actual case for you guys. The actual what do you call it? I think it was like a conference or something. It was a Fisher College, Fisher College, like, had I don't know what you call it, just like a talk, was it, or a lecture or something? Let me find it for you. Here we go. Share the screen. Thank you, Michelle. Let me just check my volume's in a good spot for you. Am I sharing? Yep. Release the sidebars, Bev. For fuck's sake. Did you just... Oh. All right, hit the play button, Ozzy. Everyone's waiting.
Series today, it's the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, a reflective of one of the most shocking, sensational murder trials in Massachusetts history. I'm Stephen Rich, the president of Fisher College. Today we read the series. Today it's the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, a reflective.
There you go. You got 13 seconds of him saying what it is. And that's it. So Deloach says he concluded the body of John O'Keefe had been placed where he was found on the lawn in Canton long after Karen Reed dropped him off at the Albert home. Juror number 1 says he felt badly for the O'Keefe family when Reed was found not guilty. I was trying to be monotone when I gave the verdicts of not guilty, and he heard cheering like it was a basketball stadium outside. Oh my God, these morons. An alleged lawyer on here who shared multitudes of misinfo, regularly see below. Yeah, I don't think they need to know that. There was more though. There was more. Oh look, Chris did a picture of him. They're not in this link, but I will find more for you. One of them is a link to Boston 25, and I can't actually see anything on those links. So, let me see if I can do a WCBB. I can do this one. Yes. All right, let's do this one. Share this tab instead. Let's do this one after the ad. You guys can see this? Oh, good. All right. Let's get the volume up.
Good evening. Ben, good evening to you. Yes, the former jury foreman says he is currently working on a book about his life and his experience on the Reed trial. He says he's currently in the process of shopping that book around.
At this question and answer event at Fisher College, Charlie Deloach says no one was more surprised than he was when he was chosen to sit on the Karen Reed jury.
You knew a little bit about the case going in, but you kind of played dumb because you didn't want to get picked. And did that serve you, or did that serve the prosecution and defense?
It backfired on me because I was the first one picked.
Deloach described growing up in Boston public housing during the 80s and 90s and says he was often stopped and harassed by police.
In the height of like the Charles Stewart case, it was scary because they was targeting black men.
Deloach told students he found the prosecution's case against Reed fishy as soon as the first witness took the stand, an EMT who couldn't remember if John O'Keefe was found with a coat on.
I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going.
Deloach stands by his not guilty verdicts and remains convinced someone other than Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe, but he also says the outcome of the trial might have been different if Reed had only been charged with manslaughter.
Would it have been more likely that she would have been found guilty?
Yes, yeah, because then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that.
And some of the jurors might have been more swayed
exactly
toward that.
Because it was a lesser of a charge than murder and stuff. So.
Interesting, right? He thinks that if they charged her with manslaughter, she might have got convicted. Yes, he's writing a book. Hello, Kathy M. Yes, Bradley, we're still going. Yeah, scary. Exactly, Karen. A couple of scary things, but there was also some other things in there that he said, which was about, when they were deliberating, like, that I thought was comforting. Like, first of all, that from the first witness, they were like, lie, lie, lie. Just like we were. The very first witness that came out, like, oh my God, they led with the two worst witnesses, right? We all said that, and even all of the lawyers, the law tube, all said the same thing, that they led with the two worst witnesses. I think they all agreed with that, according to them. So he is shopping around a book about the trial. I don't know what that means. Reed was accused. Yes, we know that. There was more that was said about the jury. He said he remains convinced someone other than Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe and stands by his not guilty verdicts. So, in the height of like the Charles Stewart case, it was scary because they were targeting black men. Deloach thought that the Reed case was fishy from day one of the trial. When the first witness took the stand, the EMT couldn't remember if John had a coat on. I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. So yeah, interesting. Trying to sell it or get it out. Yeah, that's what I think he might mean, Big Dog. I think that's what he means. So there you go. What other news do we have? I'm sure there were other snippets. Still looking for you. So just to see what else. I think that's the main snippets though. So the actual thing from the college, they did film it, but I don't know where it's being streamed to. Like, we couldn't find it anywhere. We searched high and low for it, couldn't find it anyway. So it might have been just internal for the college folk. I don't know. Still looking. Chain of custody report. Oh my God. They had a chain of custody report. And they acted like They didn't know what Alan Jackson was talking about. Oh, yeah, this is the chain of custody report for Justin Reed. They were like, chain of custody report? What are you talking about? No idea what you mean. Yes, I heard that. I heard that's happening. He's a crime writer connected to that event with the jurors, Casey Sherman case. Yes. Yes, our friend Corey Hopkins. I've been posting incessantly about Corey Hopkins. We are being posted, like, so she ended up canceling her ex account, like shutting her ex account down so that they can't keep coming at her about making stuff public. They got no sword or shield if she's not on X. So, but she'll be coming back. By the time she comes back, we'll know what's going on with her suing for the sidebars. So a fan man, a fanboy, or a fan man. You are officially a member, mate. Mate. Okay, let me just shut some of these tabs down and find some more gossip from the internet for ya. Brian Walsh's notice of discovery. So it looks like he's having a hard time getting his discovery. Not that I can give a shit about him, but I mean, they've got to play by the rules. Clearly, they're not playing by the rules. What other gossip have we got going on? O'Keefe and Reed civil case. Yes, that's the new judge. That's it, guys. I think got no more. Yeah, we got no more news. Oh, yeah, Ian Runkle's doing a 24-hour stream to raise money for the Children's Hospital. Last year they raised over 100K, so if you want to watch his 24-hour stream, that's starting on November 15th for you guys. It's November 16th for us, so no worries, Karen. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to the mods for hanging out. Got no more to tell ya. Mate. Blah, blah. All right, guys. That's it. That's the news for today. We read through the document. Big Dog, call me crazy. Heard an interesting theory on Melanie Little's channels. What if Anna Brown wife's wife is alive and tied into the Russian mob? Yeah. All right. What if she is? How did her DNA get on the serrated knife and saw? Just curious. Her blood and DNA. I don't think it can happen. So 3:30 over here, unable to sleep, so thanks for the chill time. You're welcome, Alex. You're welcome. You're crazy, Big Dog. You can't have clothing with blood on it and body parts, evidence of body parts being chopped up and bits of DNA on things, and she's still alive. Doesn't work like that. You're welcome, Le Trepidant. JK was not hit by a car. Exactly. Thank you. we will close it on that note. Because why would the FBI contact me? They got way smarter experts. I'm not even an expert. I just know SQL databases. I'm not even an expert on this shit. Quantico has this data. Quantico has seen this data. Quantico has pulled this data apart, and they knew that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. So whatever they are doing, they've got way better experts than me working on it. So, all right, boys and girls, that's it. Cheerio. Glad I could make your night because no one else was streaming, I guess. Talk to you all again soon. Thank you again to the mods for popping in tonight at the last minute. Well, today it is for us, so thank you, Bradley. I enjoyed explaining it for you guys, even though I've explained it like 50 times now. Every time I think about it, I come up with a new way to explain it. So, good night, everyone. Be good. Thank you, Jen from Texas. Good night, Goldfish. Ciao from San Diego. Bye, everyone.